1 second. I'll let you know.
Welcome back to the Moneyline Madness podcast. This is what, episode 53 now? Look at this.
53.
I mean, a Monday morning after a baseball weekend, and the NBA just doesn't go to sleep.
It doesn't. The MLB has been taking up a little bit of the spotlight, and the NBA came in and said, "Nah, it's our turn. We're back."
It was honestly 3 a.m. Who dropped snooze at 3 a.m? I wasn't awake. I woke up to this. I'm really glad that at 6 a.m. when I got up to go to the bathroom, I didn't look at my phone because I wouldn't have gone back to sleep. So I'm pretty happy I didn't look at my phone. But yeah, that only the NBA could drop news at that time. 2 East Coast teams dropping news at 3 a.m. So I don't know.
Sense.
What's your first reaction to it? For anybody not understanding it, there's a report out there that the Celtics have offered Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and I guess the first-round pick for Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
and it was turned down. But if you're offering that much, it's tough to come back.
So it's confusing because I'm looking at it right now from a Celtics point of view, and as a Celtics fan, how do you feel about that? Because I'm like, I don't know if I want to part ways with JB, and I mean, I get that. Besides him, you're only giving up, Derek White in a first rounder, but man, after going to the finals, I just feel like it's hard to justify breaking up a core like that. I don't know. It's just, in my opinion, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So I know if we're talking Kevin Durant, a potentially top 10 player of all time, but man, I just don't know. I just don't think that this is the right move for them at this moment. It just seems like it would be a little bit forced.
Yeah, I think it is forced. I think they saw the finals and they said, we're not as good as Golden State. Obviously, they were outplayed in the last 2 games, but really the last 3. They watched that and they said, what was the main issue? Well, the main issue was turnovers in that whole finals, really the playoffs. And Jaylen Brown was a main part of that. He can't really dribble with his left hand. Okay. But I don't think that completely warrants getting rid of him. I think I've tried to process this and understand it for the last hour. And I think it's really they just want to push their window to right now. Because if you trade for Kevin Durant, your window is the next 4 years.
Yeah.
And then after that, good luck. With Jason Tatum, it doesn't make it. You're not going to turn into the Rockets. But with Jason Tatum, you're still a great team. But I think this is just pushing their window up, honestly.
Yeah, no, it definitely it seems like they definitely want to win this very, very second, because I mean, a core of that, the core that you guys have been building wasn't even really obviously anticipated to go to the finals last year. You were expecting to still build another year or two maybe before you're even looking at really contending after that series against the Heat. I mean, it was pretty discouraging. You guys didn't think that maybe you guys had the young core to compete with some of these other teams in the East. But I mean, I don't know. This last season kind of, I guess, gave Brad Stevens that confidence, you think, to really think that this is a win now team. And the only thing that I'm speculating is, does this team with Kevin Durant end up beating the Bucks?
I think they're a better team. I'm gonna make it clear, they're a better team with Kevin Durant. You don't get worse with Kevin Durant.
No, you don't. You don't. No.
You made the finals,
giving up
and if you add Gallinari, Brogdon, KD, and you're subtracting, really you're only subtracting Jaylen Brown, because Derek White's not going to play that big of a role regardless this season. So really you're only getting rid of Jaylen Brown. To be fair, you're not losing much. They said that the Nets want Marcus Smart. You can't do that if you're the Celtics. You can't give up both of them. They're both your best defenders. You just can't do that. That would be your top 3 defender. You can't do that. So
giving up Marcus Smart just wouldn't make sense. It just goes against everything that the Celtics have been trying to do and build for the past few years. So that wouldn't make sense. I understand the Jaylen Brown part, and they probably don't even really want to part ways with him. It's just kind of a sad reality that if they wanted KD, he is the guy that they would have to give up in that package.
And this news kind of feels like it came out of nowhere, and I think the reason would probably be they think that they can get the Nets to knock the price down a little bit. Because I mean, where else are they trading KD right now? Everybody says the Heat don't have a good enough offer, and they can't compare to Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
The Raptors can't compare anybody to Jaylen Brown. Really, nobody can. The Suns could at first if they wanted to trade Booker, but they couldn't do that. So there really is no other option for them right now, and that might be why they're doing it.
I really would have liked to see KD go to Toronto. I think that they could have packaged something. I don't
Yeah,
think that they have anybody specifically that's better than Jalen Brown,
no,
but I think that they could have created a package of maybe like, you're throwing in Anunoby, and
yeah,
if they really wanted to throw the crib at, Brooklyn, they could throw in Anunoby. They could throw in a couple of their younger guys with
yeah,
like 3 or 4 picks to really try and entice them. But nobody's better than Jalen Brown in this present moment. It's just really confusing. What is Brooklyn doing? Like, what are they trying to build over there? Because I have no
oh,
idea. You have Ben Simmons. You, I guess, have Kyrie for right now, and then you're still looking to trade away Kate. Like, I don't. What is their front office? What's going through their head right now?
I think if they trade KD in like a few hours, you'll see Kyrie traded as well. Because Kyrie's not. I have trouble thinking Kyrie's going to show up to training camp anyway. Now
Yeah.
you take off his best friend. No, but they're making the deals as if it's still July 4th when they had to. So I think they're still looking at it as we would love to keep these guys, but if you could get Jaylen Brown back, that's you don't have to worry about not having a great player on your team like you would probably have to worry about trading those guys for picks. Like they're not gonna be the Utah Jazz. They're still
Yeah.
gonna have a great player in Jaylen Brown. So
Yeah, but then again, they're not going to be good at all.
no,
Like
no,
you
they'll be
take that
terrible.
team, like they have no depth,
Yeah,
even with KD and Kyrie. So you take off one of those guys, like, oh, it's bad out there for
yeah.
Brooklyn. Like it's going to be really bad basketball. I'm excited as a Knicks fan. It's going to be awesome to watch because fuck them
Oh
and fuck
yeah,
everything that they've done. Um, yeah, and Maine just commented.
yeah.
Maine just commented. The Spida Mitchell situation is starting to get more interesting. It is starting to get more interesting. I was talking with some people last night that I know could. I mean, not could. I know that these kids have reputable sources, and basically, what I heard last night is that the Knicks have an offer on the table, and the Jazz really they know that they they're getting the best offer possible from the Knicks. So right now it's looking like it's going to be a package of Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and one of Obi Toppin or Quentin Grimes. Now, they also are intrigued by Derrick Rose, but the reason that they want mainly Reddish and Obi or Grimes is because they're looking to then flip one or both of them for a first round pick. Now, they
Nice.
want to see how many picks. They're looking for a third team to get involved to give them more draft capital there because I think the Knicks ended up adding like 5 picks on top of that. Um, but they were looking for another team that they could then flip Reddish to for a first round pick. And then also, if they were to be taking Obi Toppin in that trade, they also want to flip Obi because he doesn't fit their timeline. He's already 24 years old. He is kind of a maturing play. Like we're seeing him mature right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's obviously not fitting with what they're trying to do. They want to
No.
lose a lot next season for
Oh,
when Ambayana or something. Yeah,
I think
Victor. I'm just gonna call him
yeah,
Victor because that's his first
yeah,
name. But that kid's fucking nasty, and
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna get real scary out there. But the Spida Mitchell situation is definitely it's interesting, but at the same time, it really like the Knicks are kind of sitting back and just being
Yeah.
patient, and that's all that they can do and all that they should do right now. Really not
Well,
much, like there's no reason to
yeah.
apply pressure. They're like when nobody else has a better trade than us, it's okay to just sit back and kind of let that stew because Danny Ainge is going to realize his back's
Let
against the wall.
let me bring something to you. If the Nets refuse to get off this Marcus Smart trade and they say we won't make a deal with you unless you give us Marcus Smart, would
Okay.
you think the Celtics would at all be interested in flipping Jaylen Brown and a bunch of picks for Donovan Mitchell? Because that's a better offer.
I
But
don't think
but
they
for the
would.
Jazz, I don't know if I'd want Jaylen Brown because he would help. He would probably win me a few more games than I'd want to, but you'd still be a bad team. Danny Ainge knows that front office. So, I mean, there's no. So
The
I think
only
that I wouldn't pivot personally because I don't know how he fits with Jason Tatum more than anything. But really, the NBA is just about getting stars on your team at this point. So I
yeah.
think that just
It,
came to my head.
yeah, no, I like the point that you're making with the stars and everything, but the only thing that I am thinking is you guys are such a defensive based team, defensive anchored team, that when you take your literal defensive anchor of Marcus Smart and then you put like take him
Oh no
out
no
and then
no!
you
I'm
plug in.
I'm saying this as if Marcus Smart's not the one in the deal because they don't want to get rid of Mark. So let's say
Oh, okay. So
Jalen
you're
Brown,
keeping.
Peyton Pritchard,
Oh, okay. So
Derek
you're keeping
White,
Smart
and
in this scenario.
yeah.
Um, okay, I could see it a little bit more then, but then again, like the same thing, like the turnover issue was still so relevant,
Oh,
and
it is. It
uh,
is.
like I don't know if they want a defensive guard that or a
Yeah.
scoring guard that can't defend. I
Yeah.
don't know if that fits like Ime's play style and his like
Yeah, that's the
regime and
that's
everything
the
like
thing
that.
about KD. KD doesn't really turn the ball over unless he's being defended by really Jalen Brown. I think
Yeah.
defended him pretty well. So,
Yeah. I main
uh,
said Trader Danny's back is never against the wall. Well, maybe because of other teams, but right now he kind of did it to himself
yeah, he did it. He did
After
it.
trading Rudy Gobert first, he set a tone for the market that skewed everything. And right now it made it so that nobody else has anything to bid for
He
Donovan Mitchell. And that put all the chips on
yeah
the Knicks pot right now.
yeah.
Like that's the only reason that I'm saying that he has his back against the walls because literally he's going to be forced to take an offer from the Knicks that even if like the Knicks are the reason that he hasn't accepted it yet is because he's still trying to milk everything he can out of it and see if he could get even just one more first rounder from another team, one more, pick swap or something like that. So it just it's his back is against the wall right
It,
now.
it,
I
it
gotta
is in
say,
theory, but I won't say he botched this situation because if you can get what he got for Rudy Gobert, you have to take it. You can't think of, oh well, this is completely ruining the market, and it did because in any situation, what the Knicks are offering for Donovan Mitchell is probably too much because nobody should have to trade that many picks for anybody really, and that's it's kind of what he did. He did make it so that making another trade is really difficult now this offseason. I mean, think about the
yeah.
last major trade. You had the Rudy Gobert thing and then Brogdon, and since then there hasn't been a good
Nothing.
player
It's
really
been
traded.
literally just quiet, just because of KD, because of
Yeah,
Kyrie, and because of Donovan. And I mean, you say that they could always hold on to spite until the trade deadline, but that's the
they
last thing
don't
that
want to
they want
win.
to do.
Yeah, they
They
don't want
don't
to
want to
win.
win any games. Like they don't even want Julius Randle in this trade because they want to lose every single game. They don't want to go even into training camp with Donovan Mitchell right now. They want that kid Victor so bad because they're not like Danny Ainge saw after last season that they're not competing. The West is way too stacked. So you take a Donovan Mitchell led Jazz team with no Rudy Gobert, and the second option being Joe Engel. No, Joe Engel's gone. Jordan Clarkson.
Wait, who are we talking about? The
It's the
Jazz?
Jazz still. Yeah, if they were to go into training camp with Donovan Mitchell,
They've got Jordan. Yeah, Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson, who's their six man as option number two. Like they stink. So what they want
Yeah,
is to go into next season, complete rebuild. They want these young guys. They want Quentin Grimes. They want Cam Reddish. They want these types of guys to try and absolutely tank the shit out of next season just to get this kid Victor. So I have the full deal right here. Grimes apparently is in the deal, and the Jazz are waiting on a third team. So it is Reddish and Obi, along with Fournier, 3 first round picks, and 2 pick swaps. That was the intel that I got last night. And so the deal, that is the framework for the deal right now. And the Jazz have been reaching out to a third team to try and get more team friendly contracts and additional picks out of it.
they want more team. I was thinking if you could get Atlanta in this deal, you could probably flip Julius Randle there and maybe get John Collins back. That would be like the same contract. It
Yeah,
would.
I
I
don't
think
know.
that would benefit you very minimally, though. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's.
I don't know how much that moves the needle or how
Yeah.
much like I don't know if Atlanta would even want to deal with us right
No,
now.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't know how seriously they take that rivalry still.
But I mean, I don't know if they'd want to deal with us like
Yeah, it makes
after
sense.
DeJounte Murray trade, and then like being that they just kind of like we just saw Trey and John Collins at the Drew
Yeah,
League together. Like it
they
seems like they're
lost.
trying. Yeah,
They
they suck.
lost.
John Collins fouled out. Like he's ass. It feels like that they're trying to like just build like a little culture or something over there.
Yeah.
It's strange, and I don't really know, but yeah, I think Donovan Mitchell is eventually going to be a Nick, and I think that the framework is right there. Um, Last night, my friends at Nick's Film School, they had a beat reporter from Utah actually that covers the Jazz on their show for an interview,
Mhm.
and he said that it just seems like Donovan Mitchell is ready to go home. That's literally what the
Yeah,
guys like. It just seems that way. And then in the NBA, you're just allowed to force yourself anywhere.
yeah,
And Danny Ainge, probably it wouldn't be this way if Danny Ainge didn't trade Gobert first.
yeah. He should have
That's
done Donovan first. That's
absolutely. And he
true.
realized
Because then
right
Donovan can
after.
set the market to where you're going to get a little bit less than Donovan Mitchell. Granted, I still don't. Even if he never made that deal, I really don't know if anybody has that good of a package for Donovan Mitchell other than the Knicks. Like I've talked about the
The
Heat a
Heat,
lot,
yeah.
and I do like the Heat's offer, but it's still I don't want
They
even
don't have the
Tyler Hero
picks.
on my team. Like I
Yeah.
because he might help me win some games, and I don't want that. I saw the kid the film. I think it was Mo that tweeted it. The film of that kid Victor. Tanking is
Bro.
warranted. It is
Tanking is
so warranted.
it's weird because we talked about like Luca came into the draft like a few years ago and we were just floored. Like everyone was like, "Oh my god, we've never seen a 6'7" point guard that can shoot the
Yeah.
ball like post game, somewhat have length on the defensive side. Not that Luca's a defender, but the
Mhm.
tools are there,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you looked at
This.
this kid Victor
Yeah.
and he's 7'3" running point guard. Like it's absurd
He
with a
hit a.
jump shot.
I saw him hit a hit fade. I think it was a fadeaway three. At that height, that's insane. Like,
It
I,
does. He looks like Dirk. I mean, with that one leg, he does kind of the
yeah,
one leg kick almost. Like
yeah.
it's crazy. It is
You're gonna
very well
have
warranted.
so many teams tanking, and like, do they? Is it? It is that the number 1, 2, and 3 teams get the same chance,
Yep,
right?
16%.
So that's what they're really battling for. They're all willing to put a 16% chance that their franchise gets changed. That's how they're willing to tank a season. For the Jazz too, a team that probably would make the playoffs if they had kept everybody. That's insane.
Yeah,
I love the NBA for this reason.
yeah,
It's
me
it's a
too.
Monday morning, 2:30 in the morning. I saw that it was tweeted out, and we're still talking. And the funny thing is it's baseball trade week, and we're
It
talking about
is,
the
and we're
NBA
talking
because
NBA. They
it
just
just
take
never
over.
sleeps.
Yep.
Who?
So
Okay, wait. If you had to put betting odds on it, who's traded first? In the next, let's say if it happens in the next week, who's traded first? KD or Donovan? With how
that's
Danny Ainge has moved so slow pace.
that's a tough question because that really that's a tough question because all of a sudden the KD news I feel like spirals so fast. Like one thing happens with him and then all of a sudden Kyrie reacts an hour later, or like a few hours later, and then KD all of a sudden you find out, oh no, he doesn't want to get traded. Like it's just so weird what his situation is. Um, I want to say I think Donovan happens sooner than later, just being that like we're hearing that the framework is there. They've been working on this framework for about a week now.
Feels
Um,
like 6 years.
it has, and so I'm gonna say Donovan just for that case. I main commented the kid is really good to be that big and move so smoothly on the floor is crazy.
Yeah,
It's
it's
disgusting.
insane.
It's
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 insane.
gross. He plays like almost like a European style of
Yeah.
basketball too, with the way he controls the ball and like kind of takes the tempo of the game with him. It's nuts. And this is why the Jazz want to tank.
Oh yeah.
Like because if you go into the season next year with Donovan Mitchell, you're gonna win 25 games, I'm gonna say, in the West.
Yeah,
Right?
30. I'll give you 30.
Okay, so we'll say 30 games. They go 30 and 52. That puts them
Not
at
good
a
enough.
10, 11 seed. They're in the same spot that like the Knicks were this season.
Yeah.
They're an awful team. They're not winning anything, but they're too bad to get that top pick. And that's the worst part of the NBA to be in. And a lot of these GMs now are seeing that purgatory of the middle of the NBA and doing everything to avoid it. They're even going as far as looking to take on Russell Westbrook so that they can tank more.
Yeah.
That's also what
He
I heard.
probably provides negative value in terms of
He
wins.
does.
So,
No, he
yeah.
literally does. Like the Jazz told the Lakers yesterday that they're willing to take on Russell Westbrook's contract in exchange for 2 first-round picks. Which, if you're Danny Ainge, that's a full fleece. Not only do
It
you get 2
is.
picks out of it, but you're tanking along the way. So that
What would they
three
send
would make
back?
sense for a 3-teamer for me to have the Lakers pulled in with the Knicks
Yeah.
and,
That makes
and
sense.
Jazz.
That's
I don't know.
that's insane.
Yeah,
The NBA will never sleep. It is,
it
well, in
won't.
August it usually sleeps, but we'll see.
I mean,
Even the
even then,
Kyrie
like
trade years ago was in August. You never know.
you don't know.
You
It's
never
a
know.
training camp is going to start back up. We're going to see some of that going on, and that's really where more drama happens because guys talk leaks get put out
Mhm.
there, agents talk to each other, executives and whatnot. So that part's going to be really interesting. But
Very interesting.
I don't know. I'm really thinking that Donovan Mitchell is going to be a Knick sooner than later in this
I hope
scenario.
for you. I've been saying this for weeks. I hope he's at a Mets World Series game this year because we know he'd be there.
He
So,
was there last night, right?
well, that they wouldn't be at a World Series game because season's already started. So
Oh,
probably
yeah,
wouldn't
that
be
is
able to
true.
go. But hey,
Honestly, he might if it's like a home game. Like
yeah,
remember when LeBron went to
you're right. Yeah,
when him and the Cavs they went from I think they had a game like the night before and then they went to
yeah.
the Indians game.
I'll
That was
take it.
pretty cool.
I'll
That
take
was
it.
that was dope.
I
And
like
I think
Donovan. He's a good spokesman for New York sports. I think this will be cool.
he is, and I think like he's been in New York the past like 2 weeks. Like, come on,
Yeah,
man. He was at like Dykeman Park like
yeah.
a couple weeks ago, and now he's at the Mets game last night. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's pretty much in the sand that this guy's gonna be a Nick.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
all right, you want to head over to baseball
Let's head
because
over to baseball. Neither of our teams play tonight. There's
oh,
a
you know
reason.
what? Actually, I'm sorry. Before we head into that, I just got a Bleacher Report notification that the Wizards, Raptors, Hornets, Kings, Heat, and Hawks, along with the Knicks, have expressed interest in Donovan Mitchell. And that was put out by Shams this morning. So, I mean, I know you watched most sports TV this past week when we had Shavar on. I know you heard us talk about the fact that agents hit up Shams, hit up Woj, and basically put this stuff out there as propaganda. Like they give them information basically to make them look better.
Yeah,
This is blatantly
yeah.
Danny Ainge begging. Like, look at the teams that are listed here, man.
Why
None of
had
like
not even the teams? Why hadn't I heard about this 3 weeks ago when it started?
yeah,
That's just trying to make something out of nothing. What
literally
really,
nothing.
honestly, the Raptors are the only team that could have any actual assets that maybe a young player that they would want. Other than that, what do the Wizards have?
Yeah, Wizards. What are what are you getting from the
Hornets. Are you
Hornets?
giving them LaMelo? No, you're not. Then
No.
you have nothing.
Yeah. The Kings. Are you
Kings.
giving them
Kings.
Davion Mitchell?
Yeah.
No.
Honestly, that's it. That's all you would
You
have.
get yeah, literally.
So
No, it's
Hawks don't have a
it's
young
such
player anymore. So
shitty propaganda coming out by Shams right now. He's shameless sometimes. I don't these
Shamsless.
yeah, he's shamsless. He's shamsless. Him and Woj, they both have no shame when it comes to
None
this
whatsoever.
agenda pushing that they do.
I
Yeah.
I get paid very well for it.
They do. They do get paid very well for it. But all right, so MLB today. I got to ask you. Last night the Braves took over and
No, they did not. Don't lie.
what is it? You're up a half game?
A game and a half. We gained a game
Oh,
yesterday.
did you?
They
Oh,
decided they wanted to get their asses kicked by the Angels, and the Mets come
really?
out
Oh,
win. It's a
wow.
1.5 game lead. I know.
I
You riled me
apologize.
up. You
Yeah.
riled me up.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It was scary there for a little bit because they did have it down to a half game going into yesterday, and we were facing an ace of a staff on a Sunday night. So it was very scary, but they were fortunate that the Angels beat the crap out of the Braves and really helped the Mets had a really good offensive day with the new trade pickup. Matty was
Matty
on the ball.
Vogelback. Yeah. Matty Vogelback, as like
Oh
some of
yeah,
my friends like to say. No, that
yeah.
it's hilarious. I
He's
love
a good player. He's a good
watching
player
him.
too.
Yeah. He's not bad.
We're gonna talk about a lot of trade possibilities over the next few episodes because it's trade week. But I was at the stadium when the news broke the other day, and everybody kind of had the same reaction as I did immediately. It
Uh-huh.
was like, it's great that we got him. What the hell did we just weaken our bullpen for? Isn't that kind of a need we have right now? And then they did it. It showed up too because our bullpen was terrible this weekend, other than Edwin Diaz.
I
So
was gonna say Edwin Diaz looked fucking
he's
fantastic.
he actually is. This is the best I've ever seen a reliever pitch, more than anybody I've ever watched. He's amazing. But yeah, But the stadium had the same news. We just traded away probably our most consistent reliever in low leverage spots need be, but
Yeah.
it's still a consistent reliever, so it's very odd. But yeah,
Yep.
it was cool. Game delayed too, so I got to walk around the stadium. Beautiful.
Oh,
Stadium,
nice.
so,
Yeah, that's the best. I kind of enjoy those when you just get to soak it in. You got a
right.
little more time to just chill. So, I mean, now says, speaking of the Angels, do y'all think they're really considering trading Shohei?
No, I think they're listening, but I don't think they're considering.
I think the same thing. They just, bro, they stink. Like we say it so often,
Yeah.
but like the fact that they're even in the position to be like fielding offers
Well,
is disgusting to me. It's disgusting. And you know who I'm gonna blame? Mike Trout.
don't blame
I
Mike
just want
Trout.
I just
Don't
want to
do
see your
that.
reaction on that.
Don't
But
do that.
no, it's really gross what they put out on the fields
Yeah.
night in and night out. I mean, what if like if you're Shohei Otani? I mean, what do you think in this scenario? Like I came
I
here
want to be traded, probably.
probably. I came here, I got a bag, and now we just literally stink. Like I do everything, both sides of the ball, just to lose. Like ultimately, so I don't know. I think they're listening.
Yeah.
I think that they're hearing what other teams are offering for Juan Soto, and they're kind of thinking, let's see
Yeah.
if we can get anything relatively close. But it's so tough to like justify any of the moves that the Angels have been making. Like they paid a very old Anthony Rendon who
Yeah.
hasn't played at all. Um, they got like it
One of
just
my
doesn't. I don't
favorite
know.
players, they paid $9.5 million a year as a reliever, which was very tough. Aaron Loop. So
I was
it's
gonna say Loop.
Aaron
Yeah.
Loop. Yeah, he can't. That was. I wanted him to stay, but $9.5 million for a reliever who's not a closer. It's a
Oh,
lot of money.
yeah. If
Can't
I'm
do that.
him, dude, that's fantastic. Like
Oh yeah,
when you
and
think
I
about
want him back, to be honest with
the
you, but
job of
it's a
a
lot of
bullpen
money.
pitcher, bro, like it's you do nothing. Like
Yeah.
you literally do nothing. I don't know if you saw the Pittsburgh Pirates, but their bullpen is out in the back growing banana peppers out there. Like
Oh yeah.
they have a vegetable garden. They do
They're the best.
nothing. They it's
They're,
fantastic.
It's a great job. You never know when you're going to pitch. You could have like 4 days off in a row, and he's getting paid a lot of money, so good for him.
Oh, a shit
But
ton
to
of
be
money just to
clear,
travel.
if I was the Angels, I would trade him because he's going to be a free agent after next year. So you're not going to get as much next season for him. And let's be very clear about something. The Angels are not winning next season. They're not winning at all with this team. This core should be broken up, to be honest with you. And I think there's a few teams that should get in on it, but I won't even go into specifics because I just don't see him being traded unless Juan Soto goes for a ridiculous amount. Then I could
Yeah.
see them being like, okay, yeah, no, we have to do this.
Yeah, we have to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, it says that's why I've given up my Angels fandom after this season. Yeah, it's
All right.
rough, man.
That's
It's
fair.
really rough. That's a fair decision to make. Um, it's just they haven't even there's nothing to hold on to with them. That's the difference between them and some of these other teams that we see try and at least make some traction or something. Like look at the Orioles this season, man. Like, if you're an Orioles fan, yeah, you've been in purgatory the past 5 to 10 years, not 10 years because they made the playoffs in 2014, but you've been stinking it up. And then now you come in, you're a 500 team, you're better than the Red Sox. You know, that's something that to be really excited about. And they have no talent on that squad. Like,
Yeah.
that team has maybe two or three, like, solid
And
guys.
they're going to be probably be trading one of them away. They're not keeping. I think it's pretty clear they're not keeping Mancini at this point. So
Yep.
really, I think they're willing to kind of punt the rest of the season because I think they could get a nice prospect for Mancini. So
Yep.
yeah,
And
they're not a very talented team, but they're playing like it.
at all. You could give Rougned Odor to like a National League contender who needs a DH, something like that. Get as much out of it as you can, and
Yeah.
that's really the best bet right now. And for the Angels, that seems like maybe what they're trying to
And the Angels
feel
have
out.
no room to
But
think that they're going to win next year. The Orioles do.
yeah, it's tough. Like it's just really a middle of the leagues type of situation for the Angels.
It's the
So
worst place to be. The
yeah.
worst place to be.
Well, on this note, you want to get to our picks because we're
Oh
running it
yeah.
up right now.
Oh
We want
yeah.
to make sure we get these guys some money before we head out.
Oh, absolutely. You want me to start or you want to start?
You go ahead. Let me hear it.
I'll kick it off with my least favorite team right now, the Atlanta Braves. I'm taking the money line against the Phillies. It's kind of a stacked
Absolutely.
money line. It's minus 188, so it's pretty. Obviously, you're gonna have to put a lot on it to make something out of it, but it's Phillies.
I'm right there
They're-
with you. That's a
they're going
hammer
through,
relatively.
yeah.
Like that's really a
They're
big yeah.
The Phillies are going through it right now. I don't know if you saw the other night. They're going through it.
Yeah.
And,
They're the Red Sox of the National League right now.
Yeah, but they're not going to sell. They don't have any assets to sell. The Red Sox do.
Yeah, no, the Red Sox could at least give up like JD and something, but this is
yeah,
their best.
Don't even talk to me about JD. I want him. You don't understand how bad.
Dude, everybody in the Mets chat has been fired up over JD
God.
Martinez,
Oh
but I can understand the Braves tonight got Max Fried on the mound. So that's relatively that's going to boost my confidence.
Yeah.
And then on the other side we have our boy Ranger Suarez.
Yeah.
I mean, his record is a little bit deceiving because you see a 7-5 and you're like, oh, this guy's pretty solid. But he gets the shit kicked out of him. Like his fastball, I think his fastball sits between 94 and 96, and that's just
Yeah,
too flat in today's
it's
MLB.
not. Yeah, it's not very good. He's not a starter.
Yeah,
He's more of a
he's
closer
a
to be honest
reliever.
with you. But they moved
He's
him.
a Chad
Yeah,
Green type of guy.
yeah,
Like, and
yeah.
they just in the MLB, they're just so fascinated with trying to turn these guys into starters. I don't
Yeah,
get it. I mean,
that's what the Pirates are trying to do that with Colin Holderman. That's why he got
mm,
sent down. They're
yeah,
making him start games now. It's
you hate to see it. You really hate to say it.
yeah.
Well, in case you needed a little more confidence for that Braves money line, Max Fried is 10-3 coming into this game. And I mean, in his last 7 days, they beat the Angels or they lost to the Angels, but he came out and he dealt 7 innings. So I mean, you really can't be mad at the guy for his performances thus far this season. I mean, the Braves, what was their run differential the past couple weeks? Like plus 122. Just incredible baseball that these guys are playing right now. And it's the time to hop on their bandwagon if you're going to. So
I
yeah,
won't be.
I'm riding with that as well.
Um,
Unfortunately, you're rooting for this pick, not rooting for the Braves
I
as
am
a whole.
rooting for the pick tonight. I don't care if they win or not because I know we're gonna win our next 2 games. So I'm
Oh,
very confident.
interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm piggybacking, so that was one of my picks as well. And then I'm also going to keep it in the National League today, and I'm going with the Brewers -1.5 going up against the Rockies.
This
And
is
we got our boy Aaron Ashby on the mound. Um, a little bit, another bit of a deceiving kind of record there because he sits at 2-7. Like, what
yeah.
the hell? They just don't get my man's wins. He hasn't had an awful season.
No,
I mean,
4.57 is really not that bad. He actually just got an extension for like 5 years too, so he's
yeah, no,
been
like
pretty solid.
their rotation has been like relatively good. It just sometimes the offense can't pull through for them. So in his last five, he has came out and he only had one win against the Pirates, which
Yeah.
is like what are we doing? But you look and he's been doing his part. He's thrown 5 innings in 4 of those games. So I'm relying on him today to get us that dub. And going up against the Rockies, another bottom of the league type of team. Um, for -102, I like the value of that considering the Brewers are such heavy favorites. The Rockies are on, I think, a 6 or 7 game losing streak. So going into this, all the proof is in the pudding right there.
Yeah, I'm okay with that one actually. It got in the way of one of my upsets. I was actually gonna mention. I wasn't gonna put it, but the Rockies upsetting wouldn't surprise me just because Kyle Freeland away from Coors Field, he's like Kershaw. He's really good when he's not pitching at home. So
Really?
that is
Oh,
something to watch out for. But my next one is the team the Mets just beat yesterday. Padres going into Detroit after a Sunday night baseball game. I've got them winning. It's not a surprise, but plus 104 on the -1.5 is what I'm taking. Sean Manaea starting. He's been
yeah.
pretty solid. 411's a little bit higher than they want it to be. They're going up against Drew Hutchinson, who I'm gonna be honest, don't know
Staker.
much about.
Yeah, no, we're
So
not. We're not scared of Giroux.
yeah,
Let's
we're
just
not
say that.
scared of Drew Hutchinson. So yeah, I got -1.5 at plus 104 for the Padres.
Yeah, I mean, plus money for that. I mean, going up against the Tigers, like that seems easy bread
Yeah.
tonight. It just Manea's been pretty good this season thus far too. Like he's been reliable, one of their more reliable starters, considering Blake Snell hasn't seen that same spark. Um,
Don't even get me started on Blake Snell. 5.11 ERA coming to the day. He gave 5 scoreless against the Mets.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Now, do you think that that's being that he has such a history of like dominating in the American League that like they're not used to a guy like him, or do you think that was just a fluke?
That's a fluke.
That's a fluke.
That's a
That's a fluke. The Mets
fluke.
lineup would never.
They
They would
shouldn't.
never. All right. Well, I got another one for you. So I'm coming with the San Francisco Giants money line tonight, going up against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Another case of a better team beating up on a bad team. Um, I saw. Hold on one second. Let me pull up this matchup because I was very intrigued. The Giants have been playing some better baseball, at least. They're not necessarily what they were last season, but
Yeah,
they've been coming around somewhat. They got Jacob Junis on the mound, who is 4-1 with a 3.06 ERA.
he's been good
So
this year.
he's been very good. And against Tyler Gilbert and the Arizona Diamondbacks, I mean, the Diamondbacks really stink. 42 and
Yeah,
53. We talk about it all the time how good teams beating bad teams is where we get our extra money. So ESPN matchup predictor gives the San Francisco Giants a nice 58% chance to win this game. So I'm going to ride with the
I'm in on that.
analytics
Yeah,
there. And yeah, we're gonna hammer home that San Francisco Giants at
Yeah.
minus 132.
I'm in on that definitely. The Giants
Yeah,
are they're so confusing to me though. If they do have a tough week, I could see them selling off.
that's
But
literally like
yeah,
this week is gonna determine their
it
fate. It's
is.
so weird.
There's a couple teams you have to watch out for with that. If the Red Sox continue this road, which the way they lost this weekend doesn't really
Mm,
give you any reason to believe they're not going to sell.
yep.
Um, there's a lot of teams like that. I can see the Marlins selling couple pieces off too. Yeah, there's a couple teams kind of fighting for their chance, if you will, but I really don't think the Giants are going to
Yeah, I don't.
fall.
No, I don't see them as a contender either. They're just kind of staying above water for right now.
Yeah.
You have another pick, or you want me to
I
cap the
have
last one?
it wasn't on my slip, but now that I'm looking at the Seattle minus 1.5 at plus 122, I think I like that one. I think I would take that one.
Yeah, I mean, going up against the Rangers, you got Chris Flexen on the mound,
Yeah,
and we've liked
I
him in
believe.
previous episodes, and he came
Yes.
through for us and cashed. So
Yeah, against Glenn Otto,
yeah,
5.79 ERA.
yeah, Glenn and the Rangers have not been doing too hot,
No,
well, to say
they
the
don't.
least.
They don't often.
No. Well, yeah, I'm very behind that tonight at 10:10 p.m. Minus 1.5. Like these minus 1.5s for plus money, we're all over.
Oh yeah.
So we're definitely going to be hammering that one home. And then my last pick of the day. This one's a little bit interesting. This is a player performance double that I kind of had my eye on since I saw this matchup this morning, and that is Jake Odorizzi, 5 strikeouts, and the Houston Astros to win. So they are going up against the Oakland A's, and Odorizzi has struck out 5 in 3 of his last 5 games. But the most interesting part is that 2 of those games happened against Oakland. So, being that it's at plus 155, I really like that not only his analytics are there supporting that, but then and a win on top of that for plus money. I'm going to ride
Yeah.
that home tonight. So, Jake Odorizzi, 5 plus strikeouts, and the Houston Astros to win at plus 155. He's done it 3 out of his last 5 against this same team. Hammer this one home for me.
Yeah, I like that one. The winning is not even a question to me. That they're facing Adam Oller tonight, 8.56 ERA. I I know him pretty well from when he was a Mets minor leaguer. He's not very
Right.
good, and yeah. So I like Houston winning that game, and I think Odorizzi could hit that strikeout. 5 strikeouts in against Oakland should not be difficult. That
No, it
line
really
is
shouldn't.
terrible.
No, you
So
figure Roman Laureano will give you 2 right off the bat, and then
oh yeah,
just figure out everywhere else. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's a good one. There's a lot of sellers.
a
There's
lot
so
of
many,
sellers. This deadline's
so
going to be
many.
interesting.
They were talking about it last night on ESPN. This deadline, there's so many sellers and like not enough buyers now. Like who else is like why would anybody in the NL buy other than the Mets, Dodgers, and Braves? Why would
Yeah,
you? You know one
yeah.
of those three teams is winning the NL. So
Maybe if you're the Padres, if you feel like with Tatis coming back soon, maybe
yeah,
like
but
I
you're
don't.
buying for a wild card spot. It's so stressful to do
It's
that.
tough, but some of these teams really think that like the Cardinals right now. I'm hearing the Cardinals are calling all over trying to buy. Like it just doesn't. I don't know.
I could see the Cardinals. I don't see the Cardinals making the move, but they have the best offer for Juan Soto.
They
So
do. They have a good Juan Soto offer. We're going to be talking more Juan Soto, I'm sure, tomorrow and the day after in our
yeah.
next episodes. Um, but yeah, I don't. Do you have anything else to add for
No,
today?
I think I'm good. Other than if KD is a Celtic by the end of the day, I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably cry on the episode tomorrow because I love Jalen Brown.
Yeah,
Very
it's going to
good.
be definitely mixed emotions the next few days.
Yeah, it's a lot like the Isaiah Thomas situation in this situation.
Yep, it is.
I think,
That's a great
yeah.
similarity. Yeah, it's nice.
So
Well, yeah, I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you for tuning in. I mean, thank you for all your support, man. We really appreciate you in the comments. We're going to be back tomorrow and the next day, giving you guys Moneyline Madness 3P of episodes. Hopefully, some more news will drop because there's so much going on, and the MLB, they deserve their spotlight too. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing some MLB rumors, if not trades, in the next day or two. And then we're definitely going to be hearing more KD news as today,
oh yeah.
moves forward.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Couple
yeah,
Subway Series episodes the next
oh
2.
yeah, we're gonna tomorrow.
Oh
You
yeah.
already know what the pictures tomorrow are gonna be all Subway Series. So
Oh yeah.
hell yeah. Oh
Hell
wait a minute, we just got a Facebook comment. So do the Yankees.
yeah. Is that a thing?
Huh? Hey,
Let's
hey,
check
I ain't
Twitter.
opposed to it. I ain't
I know you're
opposed to
not.
it.
I have some friends that are very opposed to it. To be
That are opposed to it.
yeah, they don't want to lose Judge.
They don't want to lose Judge. Well, here's the thing for me. Thank you, I mean. He said, "Great episode, guys. Keep doing y'all thing. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so
Thank
much."
you.
Um, here's the thing about Soto, the Yankees, before we leave, the whole Judge situation. Aaron Judge is about to be 30 years old, and this could be his best season that we ever see him in. So
Yeah.
now the thing with Soto is that you can trade for him and then still have him and Judge for one more year to see. And Aaron Judge already said that he would take, a 25 to $30 million deal one more time to stay in New York one last year. So if you acquire Juan Soto, sit everybody down at a table, and you're like, listen, guys, we want to win a goddamn World Series. Like, that's what we got. We just traded all of our prospects to get Juan Soto. We want to win a World Series, and we do want to eventually give you guys both the money. But for right now, we got to give you this, and Juan, your contract, we're going to start
Uh,
framework on now.
you're saying Judge would take a 1-year deal?
It's no, he's technically still could be on arbitration next year.
No, Judge.
Yeah, he can have one more. He has one more year.
I don't think he would do that though. Why would you? Do you have a chance to lock yourself up long-term security? There's no way he does that. I said this to them. Being a Yankee is not going to outweigh the money here. If he gets thrown $380 million from somebody, he'll say I'll fly. Yankee fans should fly him out there if you have Juan Soto on your team. That's like,
No, Juan Soto's a generational talent. The guy's
he
23
is
years old. He
amazing.
already led his team to a World Series. He has a sub 25% strikeout rate at this age,
His
which is
on-base
just fucking
percentage is
unreal.
insane. He's ridiculous.
He's a generational talent. So I get some people like I have some IRL friends as well who would be sad to part ways with Judge, but the emotional attachment would feel a lot better when you have
Can't
a guy like Juan Soto coming in. I could tell you that much.
Sometimes you can't afford to be a fan.
Yep.
It's tough.
It's
Very
a
tough.
business. It's
Yeah.
a business. Well,
Yeah.
on that note, we will be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 sharp. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been Moneyline Madness, episode 53. We will catch you in the next one. Peace.
Let's go Celtics.